Hey, what's going on? What's going on, CoinOpTV subscribers? Robert Welkner here with another CoinOpTV live and interactive on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/CoinOpTV. Today's a special day. We're going to review Final Fantasy 15, which with my special co-host, Brian Bentley, who's one of CoinOpTV's longtime contributors. Brian, good day to you, sir.
And to you. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. We're getting right towards the end of the year. Everybody's getting those last minute Christmas wishes in and trying to be good so that Santa rewards them and stuff. Do you have a tree or anything like that set up in your house?
We don't yet. We have a 5-month-old baby that she takes up most of my time when I'm not gaming. So not yet. I'm hoping to do it this weekend.
Awesome. So this will be your newborn. This will be the first Christmas for her, right?
It'll be first Christmas. Yes, very exciting for us.
Awesome. So that's great to hear. So we're live and interactive. If you guys are watching this on the live stream, ask us a question. Let us know what you think of Final Fantasy 15 or anything else. If you guys are watching us on the archive and you have questions about the game, let us know in the comments as well. Brian's been playing the game for how many hours do you think you've logged so far?
I'm over 26 at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm taking it a little slower than maybe some people. I like to do a lot of side quests. They have various trophies for a number of side quests you've done, and I've gotten 4 out of the 5 trophies. So I just have to do another 40 or so quests, and I'll have the final silver trophy for that. But when you're talking about Final Fantasy, and we're talking about Final Fantasy 15. This is a game that in various iterations was announced about 10 years ago. So the fact that it's even out now is, shocking in and of itself. But the first thing you'll notice is one of the very first splash screens when you load up the game is it says it's a Final Fantasy for fans and first timers. And I think that that's something really interesting to think about, especially when you're playing, because when you think the combat itself is not necessarily very complicated. There are different aspects that you can do, but essentially, you're one of 4 people. You go in and it's a lot of action-oriented combat, and you have 4 different weapons. And sure, you can do a Libra and check out what a particular monster is either stronger or weaker against, and then use that weapon against them. The game is very much built around letting you make decisions in a timely fashion so that you can, be able to be successful in combat. So the combat's not necessarily particularly deep, but that's okay, and that's something that they shot for to get first-time people playing Final Fantasy, and I think that's pretty. I'm okay with it. I know there's a lot of people out there on the internet that are very much against it, but I'm actually pretty okay with it. It's not the worst combat that I've ever played. I prefer a little more turn-based, going back in time, but the active time battle system has evolved into this, and now this is what we have. So that's I think that's something we just need to keep in mind when you are going to play it.
Nice. We're watching some gameplay. You fighting some big giant crab creatures or something here. Take me through some of the thing. So you're saying it's like real time? The mechanics, the gaming mechanics, they feel smooth and stuff with the combat? Yeah,
it does when you really get into a groove, because it's about doing your part as Noctis, the prince. I warp from different places. You can, warp out and come back in to make it to attack. So there you can do that. There's a lot of dodging and blocking. They call it phasing, but these dodging, and then calling upon your teammates to come in and I don't know as you were save the day, but use Gladios to do a huge sword drop on them called Down Hammer. You can use that. But one of the things I find particularly fascinating, especially if you're watching the clip with the crabs, is when you walk down that hill right at the beginning, there is a giant cobra there, and I mean giant, like it's big. It's like 20 times bigger than you. And, they're like, whoa. And I'm like, okay, well, that thing is like 10, 20 levels higher than me. I probably should get moving. And then I ran into the crabs. So that I thought, that they have different They have different creatures out there. I think that that's at different levels. So I think that part's pretty cool. Focusing on the combat, like I said, there's the warping in and out mechanic. There's trying to get behind them to get a blindside attack, and you can boost those using your ascension points, which is kind of like in other Final Fantasies where they have kind of the grid system. It's sort of like that, only it's for a larger group mechanic rather than just you specifically gaining different levels or skills.
Alrighty.
Now, I will say the graphics are beautiful. Like, I don't have a PS4 Pro. I just have the regular PlayStation 4, and it is still a beautiful, beautiful game, and it runs very well.
All right. Yeah, it's like we're watching some of the gameplay here. I mean, it definitely looks like it's kind of smooth, fluid. I guess this year was the we got The Last Guardian of Final Fantasy 15.
Witness.
Two games. What's that?
The Witness. That was announced like 6 years ago.
Oh, The Witness is another one? Yes. We got all these games that were like, announced and we heard about for so many years, and now they're finally out. And I'm glad that that's all done. 2016 can kind of be known as like, all right, let's get out those games and move on. So how does it? Where's this fall in like the lore? Do you need to like know anything about Final Fantasy stuff?
No. One of the nice things about Final Fantasy games is you don't necessarily need to have a lot of backstory. A lot of there's talk about how 10, I think it's 7 and 10 are connected, but really the games are very much, they're separate entities and stories. Now, I will say Final Fantasy 15 uses the same, deities that you can go and use on you can collect them and then summon them. Every Final Fantasy kind of has summons in the games, and they go back to Final Fantasy 1's original 6 summons, like the Eidolons for that game. They brought them back. So it's, in a way, it's another aspect of how they're trying to get first time people. They're bringing it back, Final Fantasy back to the beginning. Yeah.
All right, cool. Now, we're not going to give away big spoilers or anything like that, but what I've seen or read so far is that there's definitely a feeling where you're playing a certain amount of the game, and it sort of shifts maybe the gameplay or the tone, and you can kind of feel like the shift in development, I guess, or something. Did you sort of see that? Did the game start getting better after a certain amount of hours into Final Fantasy 15 or anything like that?
I haven't really noticed it being too particularly different. I guess in a way I focus more on the individual characters and kind of the interaction that they have with one another and the relationships that you build. Now, I will say that there are, the characters in your main team are, typical, Japanese role-playing game archetypes, but there is still some very good dialogue in there when they're talking to one another, when you're running around or riding in the car. You can definitely have a sense of friendship between the characters. But no, I mean, I haven't gotten. Like I said, I'm a big side quest person, so I'm only like halfway through the main storyline where I'm just starting to collect the deities. And going through it that way. So I'm still very much taking my time and really, moving forward at probably a little bit slower pace. But yes, I'll let you know if I get to that point where there's definitely a change in tone.
Yeah, I'll be curious because I've heard a few people mention that. So Brian's actually working on this kind of review in progress. Brian's working on the full review for the website. So let's jump ahead and let's talk about sort of your surprises or disappointments. Which one you want to start with?
Sure. So one of the surprises for me was just there's a lot of times where you're kind of like just riding in the car, and I realized that can be it seems very boring, but I actually have used that to my advantage where I'm like, okay, well, we're going to take a drive and I can stop along the way and pick things up, or I can go get a glass of water myself while they're driving. I guess I kind of like that there's kind of this different pacing that's involved. So I kind of like that part. Plus, especially if you're driving at night, there's always the possibility that a giant demon type thing will pop up in the middle of the road, and literally the car goes screeching to a halt, and you're like, whoa, okay, and this giant thing is in the middle of the road, and you're like, okay, I think we're going to go backwards now, because that thing is humongous. So that's kind of fun. Now, as far as disappointments, I will admit that I'm a little disappointed there aren't more of the female characters in the game that are relatable or not just objects. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with having a group of guys, out and doing camaraderie, like doing things of camaraderie, but I don't know. I mean, sometimes I just like having, different types of characters other than, 4 dude bros going around doing quests. So there's that. And I will say, as much as I enjoy going out and doing the side quests themselves, there isn't a ton of variety in them. There's a lot of show up in the space and look for something, and while you're there, oh my gosh, something magically popped out to attack you. So there's a lot of that. So they do rehash the same side quests over and over again, and that's a little disappointing.
All right, we inspired all with you were talking about the dude bros, the emo, and the bromance. Did you want to like dye your hair black and a little comb over and start wearing like black outfits or anything like that?
Yes, and as many zippers as I can possibly get, into my outfits. Absolutely.
Yeah, we got to see. I mean, honestly, when I was like hooked on like the Guitar Hero and the Rock Band phase, I like dyed my hair like 2 different colors. I was like starting to dress a little different. I was captivated instead of the pseudo rock star thing. So speaking of that, let me see you tweeted that you were wearing your new Sifted shirt. Is there a way to lean back and there you go.
There you go.
So
my Sifted shirt. Yep. This is the Fire. If you are a premium member, you can order. It's kind of a yellow with red lettering, and I'm not really a yellow shirt kind of guy, but I thought it would be something different, and I decided to wear it on the show today because I just got it in the mail. So if you have not been over to sifted.com or sifted.net, and you can go in there and join for free. You see, basically how it works is you put in your preferences. I like Nintendo games. I like RPGs, and it takes the stories that are coming through all the different websites and gives you the ones that are the highest to your preferences. So I'm into RPGs, lots of stuff on top about Tales of Berseria, Final Fantasy 15, all those things go flow to the top. Stuff about MOBAs, that's not really my thing, so I don't really see many of those. So yeah, it's an interesting website, and you should go support it.
Yeah, of course, Shane, good friends with Shane, who used to be at G4 and Game Trailers, founded it. It's an indie thing, I guess now in its 2nd year, maybe going into the 3rd year next year. Great aggregate of video game content, and I like the original shows there as well. I hope Shane makes some more of those. I feel like we need to fill those up. Let's see, Connor in chat says, is Final Fantasy futuristic or in the past? Is it a completely random timeline? So do you know like where this is I'm assuming this is in the future, right?
Well, so since it's his own game and it's on a completely different continent called Eos, it's definitely more futuristic than many other Final Fantasy games. Because like there's cars, but there is sort of a post-apocalyptic feel to it also. So it definitely feels futuristic in that regard.
All right. Also, shout outs to Connie in chat there. A couple of people in chat. Today's the big like PewDiePie's killing his channel thing on YouTube. So who knows? A lot of people are watching his live stream right now. So I have a feeling most of our views will come from the archive when people check this out. So Final Fantasy 15 was released already on November 29th. 2016 for PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, just after sort of the Black Friday thing. Is this something people need to wait for a sale? Should they be like, first impressions? Should they run out full price? What do you think?
Ooh, you know what? I think if you're a Japanese role-playing game fan or a Final Fantasy fan, you absolutely need to go buy this. I feel like there has a lot of expectations on it. And of course, it's very cool right now on the internet to hate on the game, but there is a lot to like about this game out there. I think if you want to try a new, try a Japanese role playing game, you may want to wait until it just maybe when the price dips just a bit, and then pick it up then. But yes, I think it's a very, very solid game in the franchise. Like I said, there's a lot of people being very hard on it for. I don't really feel like there's a whole lot of reason for it, but it's not a perfect game. But I think it's very, very solid for a Final Fantasy game.
All right, cool. So yeah, we'll put the full review up on the website when that's ready. So let us know in the comments below if you guys are playing some Final Fantasy 15. If that's one of your things, if you played some of the other ones or something like that, I'd be curious to know what your thoughts are. Brian and I can jump in and answer any specific questions you might have. So, all right, you guys, thanks a bunch for tuning in. We'll have a few more videos and live streams getting close to the holidays, a little bit of a break. Appreciate your support and everything like that. So thanks a bunch for watching. For CoinOpTV, we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, everybody.